What's going on, Growlers fans, and welcome back to another off-season edition of The Doghouse. Chris Ballard here with Brady and KC once again, and boys, we're still here in the dog days of the off-season. Still not a lot of news, a lot soon to come down the pipe in the next, I would say, even week or 10 days. But before the plug gets pulled and it all comes to be about this upcoming season, we thought it would be a good idea to one final time look back on the season that was. So what we're gonna do is we are going to name our favorite moments of this past season, the 23-24 season, and we're going to rank them. We're gonna do an old-fashioned tier list of our favorite moments of the season. We've got a bunch of moments pre-prepared. That's exactly how I said that. And so we're going to talk our way through, relive some of these wonderful moments from the last season, and then we're going to rank them against one another. These are all the best moments, so none of these moments are bad moments, but we are trying to find out which ones we think are maybe going to stand over time, be the most memorable ones. Perhaps these were the most impactful ones of this season. So we are going to rate them. Your top tier will be your platinum tier, platinum, gold, silver, and bronze. Everyone gets a medal here, just for cracking the top moments of the season. So boys, I know I did a lot of talking. Anything else before we dive into the list here? This might be a bit of a long episode, I think, but so grab a cup of tea.
Definitely, yeah. No, I was just gonna say, to add to that, this list was very much just compiled by us sitting down for 10 minutes and just kind of thinking about what was topical for us. So, if you think we missed anything, let us know.
Yeah,
on
in the chat,
any of our socials, on the comments, anything like that. We'd love to have one last reminisce on the season before we kind of
now's your chance.
Labor Day, yeah.
Yeah, because exactly right. After Labor Day, you kind of officially turn the page to the new season. Yeah. So now, while we still have a moment to do it, let's dive in and let's start right back at the beginning of the season, I think is a good place to start. I think the moment that I'm pushing forward here for us, the Growlers getting off to the best start in team history. 12-0-1 through their first 13 games of the season. The first regulation loss didn't come until the 19th of November. And I think this, I will have to fact check, this was like one of the best starts in ECHL history, because I remember Worcester earned that title themselves when they defeated the Growlers, and that was the regulation loss there, or sorry, the overtime loss there. So what else? What do you guys remember about the start of this past season?
I remember, having a game against Maine at home where I think we won in overtime, and I was sat beside Michael Keeley, shout out Keels, the Maine Mariners broadcaster, and was kind of a little bit complacent about our effort, and he was like, "Are you kidding me? Like, you guys have lost one game this year," and he's just. And and it is fair. Like it's kind of the standard that we're used to, and sometimes
that's true.
In the big picture, we kind of lose grasp of how good this team has been consistently for so many years. So that's my biggest memory, just kind of complaining about an overtime win as if that was beneath us. So it's
right. We gave a point away.
In hindsight, it was just like a hilariously good month of hockey.
And with so many moments that have fallen after the first couple of weeks of the season, it is hard to kind of look back and pull out anything specific about that. I remember Michael Joyo had his first 2 pro goals. He scored an OT. We'll talk about him, I'm sure, a little later on.
Yeah.
Really, I don't know. All I remember about back at that is how excited you are for a new season. I think the excitement is always highest at the beginning of the year, and I'm sure it will be again this year with a whole lot of new faces to be coming in.
Yeah.
Any idea where you would rank or how you would tier this moment in relation to everything else? What do you think, KC?
I'm thinking it's probably, I'd say like a silver.
I agree.
A silver moment.
To start, we have to start somewhere. And we know that there were more season-defining moments than just the start.
Yeah.
But we had to give the start its due, so I think it's fair. We'll slot that in the silver tier. Is that?
Yeah, no, I mean, you're talking about like almost a quarter of the season. I don't think we could throw that in the bronze because it was such a good stretch. And for me, what I remember a lot about it too is just how many first shutouts, first wins, first career goals. It was a fun stretch.
That's what I mean. Every day there's a new milestone that could probably individually have made this list.
Yeah, I think Joyo was leading. Correct me if I'm wrong. I think he was leading defenseman in points.
He started hot.
He really did.
Yeah.
So, okay, I think we can all agree, and maybe you do at home will as well. We'll start that one off in the silver tier as we move forward throughout the rest of the season. We'll try to maybe go in logical, order here, but this one. A bit of a different moment, but one that I know was really special to all Growler fans, all hockey fans in St. John's in the province of Newfoundland and Labrador, was the reveal of the Growlers' new mascot, Buddy Jr. December 10th against Iowa was his first reveal. That was an awesome Sunday afternoon, if I'm not mistaken. That also coincided with our Teddy Toss, and it was an exciting 4-3 Growlers overtime win over the Iowa Heartlanders. But I remember, we get to relive some of this again here now.
Yeah.
What a moment. Like it's hard to summarize. I think we're kind of too close to the subject matter to be able to step back far and really reminisce. But like this meant so much to so many people to see Buddy Jr. unveiled.
Yeah, no, there was a lot of raw emotion in the building that night for so many different reasons. The hockey was excellent. It was 3 overtime games in a row with Iowa that weekend, 3 overtime wins.
That's right.
So it was just like there was a lot going on. The Teddy Toss is always a fun one. That extended intermission and
like that alone again could be its own moment here. Like that's
definitely
layering on so many amazing elements to what was already an emotional, amazing night.
Yeah, and of course Kyle McGraw played in that game
right.
as well. There's a lot of storylines, and like you said, it's just for us it's such a personal thing too. But I don't know. I think this is a sneaky high one.
I agree. Yeah. I'm willing to. Only because I want to leave a little wiggle room. I think this is a gold tier moment.
That's fair.
Yeah, definitely.
For now. And we can close ranks on this maybe at the end of it all, maybe do some tinkering. But I think for now, it's hard to not put that among one of the best moments of the season.
Yeah, I think that's fair.
Moving right along. I thought we'd be more argumentative here. We're being too nice to each other to start here. Let's talk about Zach O'Brien. Because there's so many throughout the Growlers' history, so many moments that you could pull out of his alone that could be considered literally the greatest moments in franchise history. But for the purposes of our debate here today, we're going to put them all in one. I'm calling it his benchmark season.
Sure.
He set new single season records in assists with 64, points 87. For the first time in his ECHL career, he was named to the first ECHL All-Star team. He became the first Growler to reach 100 goals in a Growlers uniform, and he won his 3rd sportsmanship award. He did that all last season. And what more can we say about Zach O'Brien?
It seemed like he was getting ECHL to player of the week like almost every week. And like we're just really fortunate over the last 4 years to see the best player in the ECHL play on our home ice. And I think last year he really took big strides in his playmaking game. I think he was passing the puck like a madman out there. And obviously he has that shot. I just think we're really lucky that we were able to watch like the best ECHL talent maybe of all time.
Yeah, and I think we'll be looking back whenever Zach is done with the whole hockey thing. We are going to look back, I think, on Zach O'Brien's tenure as a Growler and say, wow,
LOL.
Wow, yeah. Like how lucky were we to get a local kid in his prime of his career, late 20s, just 30, doing the things that he did and helping the Growlers lift the Kelly Cup and then continue to push the bar into the prime of his career. I think we're going to look back on these years as being very, very special.
Yes. With all that said, I think we should start the hot taking now.
Yeah.
I think, and you might disagree with me.
Okay.
But all this talk about Zach, how consistent he's been, in hindsight, like, I think this is like a silver moment because his standard has been so consistent.
I agree with you. That's not as hot a take as you think.
No, it doesn't like stick out in my mind. It was kind of like, yeah, that's about right.
It's just a continuation of the greatness that he showed, which is still incredible and deserves to be on this list.
Yeah, I mean, he was injured for parts of the season, both missing games and battling through it and playing. So I don't know. It just feels like obviously impressive, but like as far as a moment, it's kind of just like par for the course for Zach.
I don't disagree. JC?
Yeah, I don't really disagree. You make a good point because, like you said, we're so used to seeing him play like this that it wasn't really like oh my God, this was crazy. You know?
And even maybe to be not even further critical, because who could be critical of Zach O'Brien and what he does as a hockey player, you know, seeing him a little banged up, maybe playing at 80% most of last season, kind of leaves some room for him to have even been furtherly great.
Yeah. I think that's
So
fair.
I think silver is the right place to put this one. Sorry, Zach. First time I think he's gotten silver in anything in his life, probably. But that's where he is on our tier list of the best moments of this past season. Okay, so let's move on to another player who he himself had a fantastic 22-23 season. Let's talk about our boy Todd Skirving. The first Growler signed again for this upcoming season, and he really did elevate his game to another level. He got to represent the Growlers at the All-Star game, which I know was an incredible thrill for him.
Yeah.
That took place down in Norfolk this past season. He hit 30 goals into an empty net, but he hit 30 goals, 31 to end the year.
They don't ask how.
And you're darn right they don't. And he made his American League debut on a PTO call up to the Marlies late in the season. Really an incredible year for Todd Skirving, and a year that really just makes us more and more excited about what we're going to see again out of Todd, firmly in a leadership position now, likely to be the elder statesman perhaps on this Growler team. But how can we rank the incredible year that Todd Skirving had?
I mean, like you said about the buddy thing, like oftentimes it can be difficult to assess storylines that we're so attached to.
Right.
But I think with Todd getting the nod for the Marlies, you've seen how much noise that created outside of Growler
That's a
circles.
great point.
So I don't know. It's a heck of a story, right?
I agree.
He's a guy like, you know, on the other side of 30 who out of nowhere is talking 30. Like he's literally doubled his career pro goals.
Seeing that be the culmination of his years of growth in pro hockey, it's hard not, even as us as close to Todd and the situation as we are, it's hard to look beyond that.
Yeah, it's hard to discredit. What do you think, Casey?
Yeah, I mean, I think we might have our first platinum case on our hand, in my opinion. I think like
It's a big body of work.
That is.
Going into like this season, nobody really expected him to break out like he did, and
Not
obviously-
quite like that.
And obviously, he took 30, and like you said, was called up to the AHL. And we even seen him play defense at times.
That's
and
true.
he played really well at defense.
And beyond that, some of the goals he scored this year, it's not like he had 31 goals that went off his shin pads and in.
Yeah.
It's like
Cutting down the
28 maybe.
Yeah, maybe. But like some of those goals were goal scorers' goals coming
Yeah,
down the wing and that
Picking the corners.
at full stride. Like that's an NHL level release. Like so he became a legitimate sniper.
Yeah.
Which is not something I would have expected to have been saying about Todd Skirving back when the Growlers won the Kelly Cup, when he was your extra forward.
Well, I think that's exactly like this is the opposite of the Zach scenario where we said
Correct.
like pretty level. Like Todd would be the first one to agree with us. Like you just look at the numbers don't lie. Like the difference between when he joined and last year is literally night and
But
day.
the context matters on how you get there.
Yeah.
I agree. I don't know that I agree to a platinum level. I might debate you there. Maybe Brady can be the tiebreaker here.
The platinum's looking pretty empty. I'm just trying to think what we have. Just like, Todd's definitely-
Okay, fine. Let's
you'll
put it
allow
in
it?
as a platinum moment for now. But when we circle back, this might be one I have circled. No disrespect to Todd and his incredible year. And we'll go right into a moment that I will nominate as a platinum moment of the year.
Okay.
Just to further continue this side of the debate.
Sure.
I think the goal of the year, the single play of the year, is the overtime winner from Johnny Tyconic in Game 4 against the Florida Everblades.
Correct.
A huge, some of these moments are season long, but this is a moment that I think this is the goal of the year. I think it's the individual moment of the year. It tied this series. Maybe I'm biased as the broadcaster, but overtime playoff goals, these are
At
the
home.
goals, correct?
Yep.
These are the goals you remember more than any series, more than any, these goals cement your memory of what these moments really are. Maybe that's a silly way to say that. But I think as this season, this is how I try to frame the whole thing. As we look back on this season 10 years down the road, what are we going to remember?
Yeah.
I will remember Johnny Tyconic's overtime winner and the celly and the moment, the tying of that series. That will stay with me longer than remembering that Todd hit 30, I think. And again, not to pick on Todd, but like that's just how that moment I know is going to stick out for me. And I think for a lot of fans who got to witness that and be a part of that crowd, packed house.
Yeah.
What do we think about? Convince me it's not a platinum
No,
moment.
it definitely is, because when I look back on the season, that's the one that sticks out in my mind, because we work up in the production booth, and
Mm-hmm.
people who like normally don't react to goals or anything, like everybody
Great
was
point.
jumping out of their
Yeah.
chairs. The crowd was electric. I think, this is definitely by far the best moment of the whole season.
I think so.
And the Selly when he taught, and
Like this
oh my
photo
God,
kind of helps
yes.
sell the picture, and then tossing the stick in.
Oh yeah.
Elite. And it's not very often on my goal calls where like my voice kind of cracks out of excitement. It did on that play, and I've watched that highlight back over 200 times, I think.
Yeah. No, it's especially if we're talking about a moment. I know we're kind of
Right.
It's a little bit semantics when
It's
we're talking
so
about
hard.
this, but like if you want to talk moments, this is definitely consensus number one for me.
So
Definitely.
a consensus platinum
Yes.
tier Johnny Tyconic overtime winner. Maybe I can't say the greatest overtime winner in history. We had a couple in the finals in 2019 that I can't say that. I love making the big claim, but the big claim we're making here is that it's the goal of the year
This year.
and it is a bona fide platinum tier moment. Now,
Yes.
adjacent to that, there were 2 playoff overtime winning goals during the Growlers' recent playoff run here in 2023. The other, game 2 of the second round against the Reading Royals. This one on the road in Reading when Zach Solo put the Growlers up 2-0. A lot of the same stuff can be said about this winner that we said about the Tyconic winner, but I think that what's preventing this one from, and we'll get to that moment in and of itself, it wasn't at home. Not that that really makes it any less of a moment, but I feel if the moment had been at home to be shared by the fans who could have really bought into the excitement, it might have had a chance at making the platinum tier. But I think for that one, plus it being the second round, not the third round, game 2 to go up 2-0 is not quite the same as mounting a comeback to come back in a game 4 to tie a series. So I think it is a gold tier moment just by being a playoff overtime winner.
I agree. I think all those points, and then also less style points for the Sally for Zach as well, which was actually hilarious, and I remember it very well. But there was just like the photo, the Tyconic was just like, it was. I hate to do this, but it was iconic, right?
Yep,
It was.
yep.
It was. The solo one was like a hilarious viral moment, but
Yeah, if you haven't seen the Selly, and I don't know if you're watching it on screen right now, he jumped into the glass,
It's like
totally fell.
it's like a Scooby-Doo level fall, like a cartoon character.
Correct.
Like,
You can
yeah.
almost hear Jinkies in the background.
Exactly. Yeah.
Now that we think about it, maybe that alone makes it a platinum tier Selly, maybe. Yeah. But for me, that's a gold tier. It's not. It's still one of the best goals of the season, but it's not the
No.
Johnny Tyconic overtime.
No, I think there's enough to separate the two there.
KC.
Yeah, I definitely agree. I think, obviously it was a great goal.
Incredible.
But like you said, if it was at home, I think it probably would have been a platinum tier. But we was on the road. I know we were here like watching the broadcast, and we were like over the moon when he scored
course.
that.
Yeah.
But it's completely different. Like when you compare them, like just the whole crowd reaction and everybody's reaction to Tyconics is just like something that I'll remember forever. And obviously, if that had to happen for Solo here, I think,
I agree.
Yep.
They're very different goals. And even for me, like I was doing a remote broadcast, obviously, for that one in Reading and in my home studio, which is in no way a quiet space, sorry to my neighbors. But I remember I'm like, oh, I'm going to get a police officer is going to show up at my house because someone's going to think someone got murdered in my home because I went bananas, which is a really strange moment to have when you're kind of cooped up in your spare bedroom turned home studio. But memorable goal, but it will not be a platinum tier. So I think we can move on in unison in that we agree that Zach Solo's overtime winner against Reading is a gold tier moment.
Yep.
Yeah, for sure.
Moving on. Let's stay on with Solo because there's another moment, and this might sneakily usurp that overtime winning goal. I think a lot of fans are going to know what we're talking about, and it is this photo. It is Zach Solo's Epic Sunday, is what I'm calling it. February 5th, 2023 against the Maine Mariners. The reason he is not currently in his gear in that photo, so he had the game-winning goal, he had an assist, he got kicked out of the game, I think like late in the third period, if my memory serves me correctly, but he still was named one of the game's stars, rightfully so, but instead of, not enjoying that moment, he had all his gear already taken off. He was told he was one of the 3 stars, and literally just wearing his gitch, like his hockey underwear, he ran out of the tunnel and had that incredible moment, complete with a flex. And like, this might be the greatest 3 stars twirl coming out of the tunnel moment in hockey history.
Yeah.
Yes.
This picture is I'll put it on my tombstone when I die. Like, I think this.
Is that you? No, I thought that was you standing in the
I'm
background.
that shining light up there in the booth. That's me next to that, I guess.
Okay. Yeah.
But this, to me, might be up there with the Ticonic overtime winner as one of the memorable, will stay with you forever kind of moments for this season. Not because of its crazy on-ice impact or big team moment, but just for the hilarity, the uniqueness of the moment, the novelty of that. And that was one of those kind of fan favorite creating moments for Zach Solo. If you weren't a Zach Solo fan before this moment, you were when you left the rink that night.
Yeah.
Yes.
I completely agree. I know we were up there doing the broadcast and we seen him coming down the tunnel and he just looked like The Rock was coming back to WWE. Like, it was just such,
Actually,
and the most underrated part of this clip is when he goes to high five Buddy and misses him and smokes him in the mouth. Like, it's just such a great.
I look over as if I'm expecting to see it.
see
Well,
it.
we might.
I didn't know that. Oh yeah.
Yeah, just a full bong.
It's a
Boom.
boom. Yeah.
Yeah, it's
I
such a
love
great
that.
moment.
Iconic.
Yeah.
I want to put it platinum.
I'm fine with that. There's also
That's me putting my fist down.
there's a post game soundbite from him, kind of justifying his actions in the third period, where he calls someone a Maine the high school bully, and something about that just like really did it for me as
didn't
well.
he do that interview like with his beautiful little daughter in his
Yeah.
arms too? Like, what a moment.
Yeah, he had an
I want to
eventful
put
day.
that platinum. However, if we get to the end and we decide they're all platinum moments, well, something might have to give. But I think this one, in terms of
100%.
memorable, impactful to
Yeah.
me, this is at or near the top.
I would say when I think about the season, like he was a pretty defining character
Yeah.
in the whole story.
Very much
Definitely.
so.
And this probably more so than his goal was like his cult hero moment where everybody after the game, like Growlers Nation was just a buzz. They're like, I love this guy.
Yeah, this guy plays for us. Can you believe that? That was
Exactly.
kind of the vibe we got. And from there throughout the
at that
postseason, he was that and more for the Growlers.
Yes. Yeah.
So a platinum moment for Zach Solo for running down the tunnel and giving it to the Wolfpack. Gotta love that. Now, another player who had a year full of moments that we will talk about as if they were one single moment is the year that Pavel Gogolev had on the goal scoring side for the Growlers. What more can you say about what he did? He set a new Growlers single season goal record, kind of stole it away from what was looking like was going to be Scurvs' record for a lot of the season, but he stole it in a big way in the last couple of home games of the season with back-to-back hat tricks, like both here at home, both against a big rival in the Trois-Rivières Lions. What a year for Gogo. And I feel like he did it all with flair and with a smile on his face. Like, nobody has loved scoring goals in this town more than Pavel Gogolev. And the fact that he's from Russia and he came to Newfoundland and enjoyed his time so much, and you could see he was wearing that on his face. Like, I probably remember all 33 of Gogolev's goals one by one in my brain. They're all memorable to me.
Yeah. I mean, to make your case even stronger.
The Selly game.
Yeah. He pretty much passed on an opportunity to graduate to the AHL to return to Newfoundland, right? We can't forget that either. That's part of the story, I think.
I agree.
To come back here and just do that at any given Saturday or Sunday.
And it's not easy to do that when, a year ago he had an NHL contract.
Correct, yeah.
Then obviously everything that happened with him being traded, him coming back the way that he did that because he wanted to play here.
And win.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And we did a lot of that. And, more than deserving of all the hardware he got. I want. How do you not put back-to-back hat tricks alone as like a platinum holy crap kind of moment?
Here we
But
go.
my
favorite moment.
dance moves, I think those are good. I don't have a rhythmic bone in my body, but I'm leaning gold for Gogo.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We can have some debate
We're
here.
getting crowded at the top.
We are.
Yeah.
Maybe
Gold is fair.
I think it's a gold tier moment.
I think so too.
Also consistently scored too, so it's kind of the same logic we use for Zach.
Good-
People
good-
who are just really good are kind of getting like consistently.
Yeah, they're
really
getting
good.
the tough end of the stick here today.
It often
but
happens, but I think gold is fair.
Yeah, I think gold is definitely fair. Obviously, like you said, he have a great career. He obviously has that NHL level shot, and he's just such a great guy. Like getting to know him personally was one of my favorite things this
That's
year.
true.
And
Yeah.
that's another great
Yeah.
part about what Gogo brought. You know, I think in a lot of places in pro hockey, you kind of don't know what you're getting when there's players coming from so far from their hometown, their home country, to come to, of all places, Newfoundland, a rock in the North Atlantic Ocean. Like I would understand if it was hard for players to get settled and embrace kind of the culture they find themselves in. But he did it with a smile on his face and fell in love with the place here. And he's reached out to me a few times already in the off season because I think it's hard for him to even let go. So gold for Gogo, I think is more than fair as we move on. We talked about Michael Joyo. We touched on him briefly earlier in the show. But he earned himself all rookie team honors for his incredible rookie season. And I think that alone is worthy of putting Mr. Joyo on our list amongst these greatest moments, memorable moments of the season. Finished the year tied for the most games played on the team at 72 games. That's a lot of hockey in your rookie season coming out of NCAA. 9 goals, 32 assists, 41 points. He led the Growlers defensemen in goals, assists, and points. An incredible rookie year for a guy who, again, I didn't really know what to expect out of Michael Joyo when he came here to first start the season. I remember looking back at Kyle Cushman's breakdown this time last year and thinking, okay, this guy looks like he'll be a good middle bottom pair guy. You didn't know what to expect. I'd never seen him play a single game, but he turned into a reliable top pair guy from opening weekend. Maybe I remember he had that 2-goal game, including the overtime winner. I think it was just the second, third, fourth game of the season. And I was like, oh, no, this kid's the stud, and he will be on our top pair probably all year. And I think he was up until maybe the postseason when the Growlers got real deep. But nonetheless, Michael Joyo's incredible rookie season, all rookie team award. There's so many good moments, and I'm not trying to take anything away. This might be a bronze tier. A defenseman, rookie. I don't know. It definitely deserves to be mentioned among the best moments of the season. Watching him really rise into an all-star level caliber defenseman here. But if we're giving Zach O'Brien a gold, Gogolev, you know, it's for me, it's just hard to put it on the exact same level.
No, I think that's fair. I mean, Mike's got a long career ahead of him. Him,
sure
him
does.
getting snubbed here, I think he'll bounce back.
I don't think it's a snub, but he's still
No, I
one
know.
of the best moments of the season. But if we have to use the bronze tier, and we're going to try to, this is where I think this one lives for now.
Yeah, obviously, we're not trying to discredit his season. Obviously, he had such a great season, but there's so many great moments, and he deserves definitely to be on the list.
100%.
You know, putting him at Browns isn't taking anything away from him.
His nickname is literally Happy.
Happy,
I think he'll be happy to just be mentioned. So
Shout out Happy. We miss you. Hope you're enjoying your off season, and hope this doesn't bother you at all. Moving right along. One of my favorite things when we enter every new season, especially with how young all the different Growler teams have been, is getting to be a part of witnessing and celebrating a player's first professional goal. That's always among the memorable moments for me throughout any season, especially as the broadcaster. I always really focus in on trying to give these kids and for their parents a nice good call for their first ever pro goal. Might be something they listen back to as they move along to throughout their careers, or something that their mom might remember, you know what I mean? So And for me, there was two, and we'll talk about them maybe back to back. When the two Newfoundlanders scored their first pro goals, I'm talking about Jordan Escott and Adam Daw, both very unique tales for their first pro goal. So these are separate entries on the list here. Jordan Escott, for me, seeing him score his first pro goal, he did it on the road just before Christmas in Adirondack.
Yep.
And great play too. And
Really
look at,
good goal.
I love the reaction of everyone else. Yeah. Nathan Knoll, fellow Newfoundlander, everyone. Look at the smile on Jordy's face.
Yeah.
Like he's. It's an incredible story, really. Bit of a journeyman rookie, Jordan Escott. He'd been a staple on the senior hockey scene in Newfoundland for a long time. Like, not to make Jordy sound old or anything, but like I remember when I first kind of joined the sports journalism biz, I was working for a paper in rural Newfoundland in I think it was 11, 12 maybe. I got my first reporting gig was covering the Herder, the Newfoundland Senior Hockey Championship, and that was the year that Jordy won it as a rookie for the Seabees. This was back in, like I said, 11 or 12. Yeah. Terry Ryan's first Herder. And to see him come all this way to becoming a late blooming pro, all the way to scoring his first pro goal, like that's special as a Newfoundland hockey fan.
Yeah, I mean, we talked about Todd's underdog story earlier. I mean,
that's an underdog story.
Jordy's got a decade between destinations here on his Hockey DB page. Like, it's as improbable of a first goal in pro hockey.
I think he's the kind of guy you're like, oh, good for him just for being in the lineup. That's the accomplishment. Yeah. But to stick around for as long as he did and to actually have an opportunity to find the back of the net himself, which is, I mean, maybe my expectations were just low. I didn't necessarily expect him to be being relied upon for his offense, we'll say.
Yeah, I mean, the skating is obviously the big thing when you're, senior hockey, it's a good level of hockey.
Sure it is.
But when you're talking about professional athletes, obviously just
it's hard to make that jump.
But if you watch Jordy in like morning skate or practice, like, they'll do like, tipping drills, like anything that requires like touch around the net, finishing, like he is really good. Like he does not stand out in a negative way.
And also just as charming about kind of Jordy's, rise to stardom in pro hockey, like the fact that he's doing all of this with the Growlers while also like working a normal person job on the side too, which I don't know if a lot of people know that about Jordy, but like, I don't know, doesn't that make the moment that much more cool?
The thing is, like, Jordy's work ethic is the thing that surprises me the most. Like, every time I was down to the stadium, he was down there working out.
Yeah,
that's true.
Like, we used to run into each other all the time. Even when the team was on the road, he was here getting his body right. And I think it was definitely deserving from the scorers for first pro goal this year. And we're all happy
agree.
that he did.
Yeah. So before we even get to the ranking, let's talk about Adam Daw's first pro goal and then we can compare the two. So Adam Daw joined the team a little later, I believe, if my memory serves me correctly, in the season, and scored his first pro goal on January 25th in Cincinnati, and promptly followed it up with his second and third pro goals, getting a hat trick in the game. Like, how many times that does not happen? Like, Austin Matthews did it when he scored his first pro goal. Yeah. He added another one because he's disgusting. But I don't think there's too many games across pro hockey in which guys score their first, second, and third all in the same game. Like, this is another one of those, I'll probably remember it above a lot of other memories just for the novelty. And they were snipes, some of them.
Yeah.
Like, I know one of them, I think he just kind of crashed the net like a good old Gander boy would. But, like, I remember, I think it was the actual hat trick goal. That was it.
Yeah, that's gross.
That's a snipe. That's a goal scorer's goal. And, like, doing all of that, it's another one where I'm pretty sure the neighbors called the cops 100%. On me.
I almost did.
This is so cool. And a local boy to do it too. Like, so that being said, how do you compare the two and how do you rank the two?
Casey?
It's hard to rank. Well, like, I think obviously Daz, I think, should be higher than Jordy's because like that was just such a surprise to all of us.
The hat trick is the trump card for me, I think, too.
I think maybe we put Da at silver and Jordy's at bronze.
I'm okay with that, Brady.
Yeah, no, that's where my head was at too. Again, like for Jordy to be a 31-year-old rookie in pro to be one of the top moments of a Growler season is an achievement.
I agree.
Yeah. So to be bronze is there's no shame in that.
Absolutely
You
not.
will not see anything I did in the booth on this list.
No.
So
Yeah.
No.
we're not insulting anybody.
No, absolutely not. We're just having a bit of fun, just ranking our favorite moments is all.
Yeah.
Another moment involving another local boy, and I guess I can stop prefacing everyone being like, well, I think I'm going to remember this one forever, because clearly they're all incredible, memorable moments. But James Melindy's final home game, going out in style, and I think this photograph might be the greatest photograph ever taken in Growlers history. In case you don't remember the details of this incredible game, it was April 9th against Trois-Rivières. The Growlers beat the Lions 9-2 here at home. Meller had an assist. He had a fight. And it's what we now believe to be James Melindy's last game as a Growler. And to go out, if it is indeed, and at this point I do believe it's fair to assume that, if that's how Meller goes out, then what a way to end off your professional career doing what you do best. Whooping up the crowd. I know he had all his friends and family, everyone from the Goulds was here, and basically two scraps in the same fight.
With Donnie Dunphy blaring in the background.
Like that might be James's second best memory or second best moment as a Growler. The first being when he got to hoist the Kelly Cup.
Yeah.
But this, and to score a goal, something he only did a couple of times a year on a dandy play.
It's a good play.
Like, and if we can get the photo back up too,
I was just gonna say.
the look of adoration on the face of Adam Hallwell in the back. And I remember a few of us asked Adam about this after the fact. I remember at the season ticket holder event asking him, like, buddy, you look like you're just enjoying that moment. And he said he grew up like a Melindy fan.
Yeah.
And which is awesome. And like you could tell he's enjoying every single bit of this moment. And that's James in his element if I've ever seen it. This might be a platinum moment for me.
It has to be just based on that photo, I think. Like, if he doesn't have that, like, framed in his man cave, it's an injustice to
I
himself.
agree. And I think it's an injustice to James as the only captain in Growlers history to not put this at the very top up there with the likes of the best moments of the season.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was probably one of my favorite performances by a player the whole year, just because I like a scrap. I'm a person who likes a scrap, and like that's why Melindy was one of my favorite players on the Growlers, because he could go out there and beat some guys up.
100%.
And like just that game, like we all didn't know in the moment that it may have been his last game. And then like at the end, seeing everybody like just cheer him on, and you see him get a little.
It was
bit
really only
emotional.
at this moment, and you could tell.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is a platinum tier moment. I don't think there's any debate. I think this is a pretty general consensus that the final game of the only captain where he was completely in his element, scoring a goal, an assist, a goal, a fight, and that photo to summarize it all. I think it's a slam dunk platinum tier.
Yeah, I think
Even that photo there is.
I agree. I don't think I've ever seen this one actually.
the goalie's not having it either. He's disgusted. It was 9-2 to be fair, but
Incredible.
It's just something I'll always remember, because like you got to having a time Donnie Dunphy with Ghouls rules on the video board and him skating up the ice with his arms in the air.
That's the James Melindiest moment I could think of.
yes.
Yeah.
Oh, incredible. I love that moment. I still do. It was one of my favorites. Moving on. Let's give the Tendies some love, because both of our goaltenders this past season were incredible. But we're going to lock in on Luke Kavalin and his record-breaking season. Set a new team record for wins with 24, and that 24th win coming in that same game. Everything happened in that April 9th game against Trois-Rivières. That was Gogolev's hat trick that same game.
Yeah.
Absolutely bonkers when you think about it. But for Luke Kavalin, his season, rookie season too, 35 games, 24, 9-1 record, 2 shutouts, 917 save percentage, 256 goals against average. You don't need to be a genius to know those are absolutely rock solid numbers at any level of hockey, especially when you factor in the rookie of it all.
Yeah.
The fact that, he's seeing the Growlers don't sneak up on anyone anymore. You're getting top quality everything, every opponent that you face. And for him to break Michael Gartag's record, he had 23 wins, Gartz did, Gartag did it in 43 games. So Kavalin did it in, 7 or 8 less games.
Yeah.
And I'm going to go as so far as to say that I think Luke Kavalin just turned in the greatest single season of regular season goaltending the Growlers have ever seen. All of that being said, where do we think that puts him?
Oh, that's tough. It's on the brink from gold to platinum for me, I think.
Okay.
I think like Luke was just such a calming presence in net, and like it's just crazy to me that like he had such a great season in his rookie year.
Yeah.
And such a great dude too. But obviously in the playoffs you really seen him hit a stride there, and he played out of his mind. He was standing on his head. But like I said, like I think he's just like such a great goaltender, and if we get him back this year, I think we'll be in for a good season. So
It's not impossible.
Yeah. And he only played 35 games last year, so I would love to see him get the opportunity to come back and further beat his record. But that being said, with such a small sample size, I have a hard time pushing it up. I have it. I would put it in maybe even silver. Okay. Again, not to take anything away from it, but it's easier to poke holes in this than it is some of the other ones.
So I was thinking like where his playoff performance was so dominant, like it almost feels like it needs.
But he didn't start as the day one starter in the playoffs.
He had some games though. You're right. When he came
he
back,
stole almost every game he played in down the stretch and gave the Growlers the chance to win against the Everblades. I remember that was really the pivotal
I think
time of the year.
I think silver's fine. I know this is a list of last season moments, but I kind of hoping he has an opportunity to do even more again this year.
I'm hoping so too. No,
put him in silver for now, and then
we can see how it shakes down when we're looking at this under the harsh light of the end of the show.
Yeah.
But I'm fine to put him at silver for now because there's room to grow into a gold or platinum.
I'm confident he will.
Yeah.
Me too. Absolutely, me too. Let me see what else we haven't talked about here. Let's talk about another Newfoundlander who I feel like every time he scored a goal here at home, it was an absolute highlight reel goal. Let's talk about Brett Budgell's highlight reel here. He himself, I have 2, I think, written down already that are, I'm like, these are both in contention for goal of the year. February 11th against Adirondack and this one against Reading in March. This kid, I wish we were going to get another chance to see more about what he could do with another year. At the ECHL level with the Growlers, he signed an American League deal with Iowa, so we can't be too mad about that for his development. But I remember a couple of times me and Ben Murphy up in the booth, like literally jumping out of our seats. We saw very many glimpses of what he has to offer.
Yeah, I love the Selly too because this is that OT winner
That's
and that
right.
overtime game we're talking about. Here it comes. The thing that I love about that is
just
like
the hands up, old
Budge's,
school NHL '94 Selly. Like,
he's such a nice kid. He's a pretty quiet guy. He doesn't
very
say a whole
much
lot.
so.
But his Sellies are very much like the "Are you not entertained?" like the gladiator style. And I just love when a guy shows his personality through. He just loves to score goals.
I agree.
Look at his numbers at the back end of his Q career, and I have a very sneaky good year last year. I think he had like 52 points.
That's
or something.
what I mean.
Yeah.
Like, I think overshadowed by the Gogolevs, the Isaac Johnsons, the Zach O'Briens, but
a rookie.
If that's what you're getting exactly out of your rookies that are playing in the middle of your lineup, that's an incredible year, capped off by, to me, some of the most skillful goals we've seen in the building all year.
Yeah, definitely.
That being said, skill is good. I have a hard time pushing this out of the bronze tier.
That's fair.
Fair.
Maybe if he was back in the Leafs Growlers system for another year, we might give him a little room. But for me, as incredible as those goals were, I have a hard time putting them over kind of any of the other ones.
Yeah, I think.
Yeah, I agree.
If the list was individual like skill plays, it'd be right up at the top.
Yeah,
this is moments,
memorable, encompassing moments, and definitely again deserving of being on the list. But I have a hard time elevating it over almost anything else here. Again, no disrespect to Budge.
Listen, best of luck in Iowa, Budge. We're only
joking. You got a team full of people rooting for you, unless you're playing against the Marlies or the Growlers, in which case it'll get weird.
We'll circle back for that.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay, we've talked about Luke Kavalin, Adam Dodd, Jordan Eskett, James Belindi, Michael Joyo. We got back to Mikey.
Got Mikey, yeah.
Zach Solo's Epic Sunday, Todd Skirving. Pavel Gogolev. Let's talk about a little. These moments are a little tougher to kind of weave in here. Did we talk about the third jersey?
No, we haven't.
No.
So that's a moment in and of itself, or maybe I'm just a jersey nut.
You are, yeah.
But I'm not just a jersey nut. But, I think it's always really exciting whenever you add another page to kind of the brand story and you get to see a new look. And, the Growlers have had, of course, it had to be a Todd goal we found. Go 2. These might be the best jerseys the Growlers have ever worn, including their standard black and white.
Pretty sick.
I just the stand on guard on the shoulder, the chevrons, it's just black and gold. Like, this might be the best third jersey in all of hockey, as far as I'm concerned.
What do you think, Casey?
Yeah, I think I love those jerseys. Like when they came out, like I don't know, they're just so sick.
And I'm
like,
so
just
mad
with
that I didn't get one.
Yeah,
fair.
me either.
And they're gone.
The black with the gold trim is just such a nice look.
And like that regiment inspired
Yeah.
logo on the front too. Like,
I
if
think
you
that
look back, even just in Growlers history, I'm sorry to cut you off. The Growlers have had some incredible official third jerseys over the years. Even if you want to include the Regiment Gold jersey, the season ticket holder jersey from a couple seasons ago. We had the St. John's Maple Leaf throwback jersey. We had the Growlers by Leafs all
sick.
incredible jerseys. Yeah. This is still the best one I think the team has ever come up with. So, like, to me, that makes it worthy of this list. But again, just a jersey that spells bronze tier to me.
Yeah, that's fair.
I'm not trying to be negative against it. But a jersey moment compared to an on ice moment, or even a Buddy Jr. reveal moment. Like, I'm trying to put everything into its own perspective. I have a hard time putting a jersey above anything that a player did on the ice.
Yeah, I think that's fair. Like the one thing I will say with these jerseys is like seeing them in person and on the ice and stuff. Like, I thought they were great when I seen the mock-ups and we did the release process and all that, but in the flesh, like there's something about them that they really
the
just
detail
pop,
that's
right?
really baked into those things too.
Yeah.
And it was one of the more successful like game worn auctions. So the fans clearly felt the same way. And if anyone wants to sell one, please get in touch with me because I'm missing that one in my collection.
Yeah.
All fine with bronze on these beautiful jerseys.
Yeah, it's fine with me. Yeah.
How many are we up to, Casey? Is that all? We had 16.
We got one more left here, which is the best Growler season of all time.
Well, that's a nice way to put it. No, you're right. And it was the greatest regular season in Growlers history. The team set new records for wins with 48, points with 98, and for the first time ever, they were the top team in the Eastern Conference after the regular season ended. Incredible season, but it's hard to know where to slot it in for me.
I'm looking at Casey's list, and if we put it in the gold tier, we've got an even split. I don't know if that's a strong enough case. Again,
it's not.
No,
but
give me something.
I think it.
What do you think?
I think we move O'Brien's record-breaking season to gold.
Okay.
And then we have the best start and the best season in the same category.
Okay.
I think that makes sense.
Makes more sense, right?
Yeah.
All right, you're on the.
All right.
I think you're onto
driving
something.
here. Yeah.
And we will put up the entire tier list for you to pick apart.
Those feel like the same, right? That he's
Well, they're two halves of the same
pretty much
situation. You wouldn't have your best season in team history if not for the start. Correct. I think it hard to rank one over the other.
Yeah. It is hard to believe that was the first time they ever won the Eastern Conference.
Yeah,
right?
I think they were.
It is
in the regular season.
Yeah. I think they were third in the first year.
Yeah.
The COVID canceled season doesn't count, the year
Right.
it was. And I remember they weren't even first in their division in 21-22. Reading was first in the Growlers division that one year. They had a great year.
Really good.
So, this really was the best season. I'm pretty sure they scored more goals than any other season, allowed maybe the fewest, if not up there. Like, statistically, it is up there amongst the best seasons in Growlers history. But where do we say we were going to slot this? In silver.
in silver. Yeah.
We're gonna move
O'Brien
Obies.
up to gold. Either O'Brien or
That makes more
Cavlin. I think O'Brien.
O'Brien,
need to for sure.
Yeah. Look, we're going to give him a send
Yeah.
off.
Okay, and we'll use that to motivate Cavi into next season, hopefully, if he's a Growler.
Yeah.
Only a silver tier, bud. Pick it up,
It's such mixed emotions with those one. Obviously, like, you hope he's back, you hope Johnny's back. But,
Yeah, it's all guesswork until camp opens up.
Yeah. Which is not that far away, which is
Sure not.
good timing for this.
So let's quickly review. So KC, where did we land? What is currently in platinum?
I think producer Dave should be able to bring it up here.
Oh, on the fly.
On the fly.
Let's go.
Yeah,
Where did
so-
you speak too soon?
Yeah, we've got, you're throwing producer Dave under the
I think,
bus here.
yeah.
Come on, Simmer.
It's through.
It's your time to shine, baby. Shout out David
Yeah,
Sims
shout
behind.
out.
He's been doing all the behind the scenes work for the Doghouse here
He's
ever
a
since
platinum
we
tier member of the
Platinum's
Yeah,
here,
yeah,
crew
definitely.
member, absolutely.
sleeper.
Oh,
Bear with us.
Oh, here we go.
okay.
I don't know what that means, but
I don't think it's a good thing.
okay.
So while we see if Simmer
by.
gets demoted to gold tier here,
Yes.
Come on, Casey.
Casey, why don't you fill? Where did we land? What's in the platinum as we stand
So
here now?
in platinum right now we have Tyconic's OT winner,
Correct.
which is the best moment.
For me,
Yeah, for sure.
Hockey ever.
And then we got
Maybe.
Zach Solo's Epic Sunday.
yeah.
Yep.
We got Todd Skirving's career year. Mm-hmm. And we have
there we go.
Melindy goes out in style.
Here we go.
Okay. In the gold, Gogolev's epic season on the Rock, Zach Solo's playoff overtime winner, the Buddy Jr. reveal, and Zach O'Brien's record-breaking season. Silver, the best start in franchise history, the best season in franchise history. Adam Dawes' first pro goal / hat trick, and Luke Cavalin's record-breaking season. And in the bronze tier, Joyo all-rookie season, Jordy's first pro goal, Brett Budgell's highlight reel, and the launch of the third jersey. How do you feel? I think that's pretty
we
spot
nailed
on.
it. Yeah, we nailed it.
We did not plan to have the
Yeah.
4 per. We were kind of willing to
I
keep
did at
this
the end a little bit, but it's fine.
maybe a little, but I think this is pretty tidy.
yeah.
I don't hate it.
So now the question becomes, what do you think we missed? What were some of your favorite moments? Let us know in the chat or on social, and we'll let you know how wrong you were. Playfully, with smiles on our faces. No, but what an incredible year it was.
Yeah.
I always love doing the kind of the year in review
Yeah.
look back. Like it gives you one last excuse to watch the highlights and talk about all the sick moments that there were. But
Gets you excited too. For
absolutely does.
Yeah.
And, especially now if you look at how deep the Marlies are getting with all their signings and reading between the lines on who may or may not end up down here. I welcome you to, again, and he must be getting kickbacks now because Kyle Cushman gets a shout out almost every show. He's doing a good job following the pipeline between the Leafs, the Marlies, and the Growlers and doing his best to project a lineup. I refresh his Twitter feed every day, so check him out on Twitter. Because in the next few weeks, I would say the next 2 weeks, it's gonna start to heat up in a big
Yeah,
way.
for sure.
For sure, definitely.
Okay, well, I think this show has gone on long enough. So for those of you who've watched the whole darn thing, thanks for sticking with us. And again, hopefully the next time you see us here, we will have a lot more to talk about because I think this is the bookend to last season. I don't think there's any more we are going to have to say about last season.
Bring on
so
the new season.
bring it on
Bring
indeed.
it on. Year 5.
5th anniversary season. Check out nlgrowlers.com/tickets. All kinds of awesome ticket packages available. New business package I know is out there. Season tickets, or just buy 1 or 2. That's all you think you're going to want. But we hope we're going to see you down there a lot more down at the Mary Brown Center in the fall. So until maybe next week, maybe the week after, he's Brady, he's KC, and I'm Chris. This has been the Doghouse. See you soon.